Pakistan's army chief has arrived in Tehran for talks with senior officials, a signal that negotiations between the U.S. and Iran may be progressing. He's been the point man in mediation efforts to bring about a peace deal between the two sides. Field Marshal Asim Munir was welcomed by Iran's Minister for the Interior, Iskandar Momeni. Munir's latest visit follows a new round of high-level talks with Iranian officials in Pakistan on Thursday. Meanwhile, in breaking news just coming in, an Iranian official source has told Al Jazeera that a ceasefire on all fronts is the essential prerequisite for any future negotiations. They've told Al Jazeera that no final agreement has been reached yet, and efforts are underway to bridge the gap between Tehran and Washington. Well, let's head now to Tehran and speak to Almigdad Al-Ruhaid. Almigdad, we've just heard this latest breaking news about officials talking about no ceasefire unless it's on all fronts. But have we heard anything new from Iranian officials regarding the talks with Pakistan now that Pakistan's army chief has arrived in Tehran?
Well, actually, we do have heard from Iranian foreign ministry spokesman. He said, let me have a test from what he has said. He said that the visit by Pakistani army chief is a part of the continued diplomatic process. This does not necessarily mean we have reached a turning point or a decisive situation. We cannot say we have reached a stage where an agreement is closed. No. That is not the case. The focus of these talks is on ending the war on all fronts. At this stage, there are no plans to discuss nuclear-related issues. So, same impositions and same stance for the Iranian. He emphasized the same idea that right now they are phasing the negotiations into 3 or 2 phases, especially about at the time being they are speaking about ending the war on all fronts. And the visit by Pakistani mediators is a part of the ongoing process about exchanging the message between Iranian and Americans. So what we do have right now is that the Iranian emphasizing the same idea about their stance about ending the war on all fronts with the guarantees that this war will not going to be resumed again.
All right, just stand by for us, Almigdad. We're going to hear now from Al Jazeera's Osama bin Javed, who's covered Pakistani mediation efforts extensively. Earlier, he explained how Pakistan's army chief is well placed to handle these diplomatic efforts.
This is the second visit by the Pakistani Field Marshal Asim Munir, who Donald Trump has described as his favorite field marshal. He's somebody who has got the backing of the Saudis, as there is a defense agreement under his leadership between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. He's got the confidence of Qatar from the region. He's got an open door in China, as well as those links to Iran, and he's got a direct line of communication with J.D. Vance. So he's somebody who is in a unique position to have open lines of communication with all of the parties who are required to build lasting peace in the region. Now, we can confirm that there has also been communications between the Pakistani Interior Minister, who's been in Tehran for the last 3 days, and his Saudi counterpart just today. There was a telephone call that was held between them. And many analysts who I've been speaking to and government officials say that his presence in Tehran is a positive indicator that there is some sort of deal or framework or agreement in the making. Now, we've been here before. There was a 14-point agreement that was floated. Then there was a flowchart of a memorandum of understanding. Then we're back to the 14 points, and there's some 9 points that people are discussing. But at the heart of it is still the nuclear issue, the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran insists on getting its assets unfreezed and an end to the Israeli aggression in Lebanon and elsewhere. So it is all out in the open. According to various sources in Tehran, there's major differences that remain, but there is cautious optimism that while he is in town, there might be some breakthrough that both sides could agree to extend the ceasefire and agree on a framework which would propel them forward to reach a lasting peace deal.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Washington is cautiously optimistic about negotiations with Iran, but he adds that an alternative plan should be in place if Tehran insists on controlling the Strait of Hormuz.
We all would love to see an agreement with Iran in which the straits are open and they abandon their nuclear ambitions and so forth, their nuclear weapons ambitions. That's what we would all hope for, and that's what we're going to continue to work on, and that's what work is ongoing even as I speak to you now in that regard. But we also have to have a plan B. And plan B is, what if Iran refuses to open the straits? What if Iran decides we refuse to open the straits, we're going to own the straits, and we're going to charge tolls for it? Okay, at that point, something has to be done about it.
Almigdad, so let me ask you about U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and what he said there. He said that there'll need to be a plan B if Iran insists on implementing a new tolling protocol for the Strait of Hormuz. Do we expect Tehran to respond to this?
Well, actually, there's two issues on what Marco Rubio has said. He said that there is a plan B, which is mean that there's a new escalation on the Strait of Hormuz. So this type of language for Iranian is not acceptable. That what we learned from their previous instance. They are saying that their hands on the triggers in any kind of escalation when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, when it comes to another round of confrontation between both sides. And about tolls and the revenue and fees, they are saying that we are projecting, we are experiencing that we are providing a security service for vessels that must pass safely through that strategic waterway. And just hours ago announced that more than 30 vessels have passed freely with the new coordination through the Strait of Hormuz, new coordination with the IRGC Navy, definitely, and the authorities is there. So what their response is that right now we are controlling that strategic waterway with the new mechanism and new reality on that corridor. So in type of threatening, they are not accepting that, and at the same time they are projecting their new mechanism on that strategic waterway.
All right, that's Almigdad Al-Ruhaid live for us with all the latest from Tehran. Thanks so much, Almigdad.